In this video, we're going to look at descriptive stats for populations. Okay, so we have looked at descriptive stats for samples so far, but we haven't done it for populations. So we're going to do it, we're going to look at the stats for the mean, variance, and standard deviation for populations, ever so slightly different than sample values. Okay, so for the population mean, for the population mean, what it is, it's the sum of all the values in the population divided by the population size. Sorry about that. So exactly the same as the mean for the sample. Sum up all your values, divide by how many there are. Only difference, you divide by the population size instead of the sample size. Okay, where mu here is our population mean, n is our population size, and these xi's right here refer to all of the values here, or if you will, the xi here is the ith value in the variable x. Okay, Excel formula for this just the same as for the sample, it's just equals average. Next we have the population variance, which we call sigma squared. Notice we have a different symbol here. For the sample variance we use an S squared. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. So the population variance is the average of the squared deviations of values from the mean. Here's the formula for it. Slight difference here. We divide by n instead of n minus 1. And note that n is the population size. Before we used a little n, which is our sample size. And sigma squared here is new. It used to be s squared. So sigma stands for the population standard deviation. Sigma squared stands for the population of variance. And again, here's your formula. Or in Excel, you can just do var.p and then highlight your data in here. Okay, final measure is the standard deviation, which we call sigma. And it's the most commonly used measure of variation. It shows the variation about the mean. It's the square root of the population variance, and it has the same units as the original data. This is really important. Here is the formula for it, so it's just the square root of the variance. Again, there's an n here, and n is the population size, and sigma is that population standard deviation. We won't use this formula though. We are just going to use the Excel call stdev.p and then highlight your data .p instead of .s, since we have the population instead of the sample data. Finally, quick little recap here. So here are our parameters. When we have a population, we use mu and sigma. When we have a sample, we use x bar and s. Notice when we have a sample, we use our common lettering system, whereas when we have a population, we use the Greek lettering system. Okay, that concludes population parameters. Thanks for watching.